What do you do when you start second guessing your business idea right after you've kicked it off? I'll go over a list of essential questions that can help founders determine if they want to quit, pivot, or double down. After a 20-year career, you finally mustered the courage to turn in your 2-week notice. You're thrilled. You did it. You've jumped ship. The rest of your life certainly must be a saga of glory and triumph, right? Until the reality of starting a new business hits you like a ton of bricks. 6 weeks in, and you start wondering if this is even the right business idea. And by week 7, you can't stop thinking, why did I quit my job? This is the story of Anton, an accomplished HR professional with a technical background who worked in large enterprises and in startups. We'll cover his questions, and as usual, we'll go over the 12-point assessment grid. Yellow and red represent what Anton needs to do a little or a lot more work. Gray represents areas that are not applicable at this point. And green represents the things that he's doing right. So let's start there. After putting in his notice, Anton thought he could leverage his experience to start his own new business. Throughout his time in the industry, he had noticed a problem. New technical managers lack the ability to communicate effectively with their own peers, with folks across departments, and with people in different generations. And that's the opportunity he saw, to start a coaching agency to help new managers become better and effective communicators. The basic business setup, like forming the LLC, having a simple and professional website, and set up some initial sales and marketing processes, that was pretty easy for him. Just a few weeks and his business was ready for clients. But he soon realized that the basic setup wasn't the difficult part. He knew he was good at his craft. He's professional, he's very hardworking, but none of these were helping Anton. He was shocked at how difficult it was to ask clients for money and to close deals. While he got off on a solid start and got a lot of referrals from his network, he couldn't close any one of them and soon ran out of leads. Then he came to me asking, did I start off on the wrong idea? Should I pivot? What should I do now? Naturally, he was worried because he had just left his good day job and he was distraught just thinking of the idea of failing in his first business. He also had 2 other business ideas brewing in the back of his mind, and he wasn't sure if he should have started with those ideas instead. Before I answer Anton's questions, I want to highlight what he was doing right. I first commended him on his courage. He did take the leap and started a business after thinking about it for many years. In addition, he's done many things right, which is not very typical for a new business owner. See, he had a business plan, the proper legal setup, a clear marketing and sales funnel, and he had a professional website and relevant online content. The primary area that needed improvement is not something practical I can point to, it was mindset related. His less than 2-month experience with no clients left him anxious and disappointed. He wanted to pivot, and he had these 2 other business ideas brewing in the back of his mind, and he almost wanted me to tell him to pursue them instead. Though it's good to recognize multiple opportunities, when you're starting, focus on one. Anton is driven, but he must pick a lane to drive in. I also explained 2 other very important business principles to him. First, it's okay to take a long time before making a big business decision. But once you make that decision, you must stick with it to the end. The second principle is selling anything is not easy. And it's especially harder for those who come to entrepreneurship without any sales background. It's probably the hardest thing they ever do. I advised him to be patient. Later, when his first business is successful and he has revenue and he's profitable, he can expand his business offering or even start a second business. After I listened to Anton and shared my initial advice, I gave him a list of questions, a decision matrix to help him determine if he should quit, pivot, or double down on his current business. And before we go into the decision matrix, if you're finding this video helpful, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to sign up for the Daily Advisor, our newsletter dedicated to founders like you in the services and consulting space. The first question in this decision matrix is about re-examining market demand. Presumably, when you started your business, you had a business plan, and in it, you had a section on market research. You've identified a segment of the population who are interested in what you offer. This was all theoretical. Now that you've done some work for a few weeks or a few months, you have real-life data. Re-examine why is it that customers are not buying from you. It could be as simple as you're not offering that service competitively. It could be about your pricing or the delivery time or the quality of the service. Second, reassess the assumptions you have in your business plan about the sales cycle. Examine the expected typical time for a business like yours from operation to revenue and to profitability. Keeping in mind that marketing and selling to larger companies takes much more time than marketing and selling to smaller businesses. The longer the sales cycle, the longer the financial runway has to be. Third, what is the market share you're going for? Are you planning on being just another provider in your market, in your town, or online? Or are you planning to be the dominant player in your niche? A wider ranging and more complex business model and objective require more time. The foundation for a 50-story building requires a lot more construction and time than building a one-story house. And fourth, do you still feel passionate about growth and making this business succeed? See, building a business is hard work. And to make it successful, you might have to double down. Do you find it in you, in your heart, in your mind, physically, mentally, ready to commit more to this business? If not only you risk burning cash, but more importantly, you risk problems related to your mental and physical health. And one sign that you no longer have passion left is that you've lost interest in finding creative ways to solve problems and you're doing the bare minimum. I told Anton that answering these questions should help him confidently make a decision on whether to quit, pivot, or double down. Now, what happened to Anton? I'm happy to report that he called back in a few weeks and said he didn't quit, he didn't pivot, he just realized that his sales cycle is much longer than he had initially anticipated. So he's doubling down, he's doing more marketing. I'm certain he'll do well. If you want to examine your own business and you want help in answering these questions, download the guide linked below. It'll help you answer questions before you make the next major big decision. Anton is like many entrepreneurs I meet every week. They have a multitude of good ideas and the drive to pursue the one that emerges as the strongest. I see that eagerness in Anton, and that's why I think he'll be a successful entrepreneur if he focuses. But he has to patiently work on his first business that he started, that is the coaching program for the new technical managers. There are few things in life that are more devastating than starting a business and having to call it quits, and then agonizing over why you failed over a long period of time. The burden internally and externally, that is socially, is heavy. And that's why we started Startup with Ferris, to help founders like you avoid these pitfalls and have a higher chance of making it big and be successful. If you like this video and you find this content helpful, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to sign for the Daily Advisor, our newsletter dedicated to founders like you who are trying to establish their business and grow that business in the services and consulting space. That's it for now. See you next time.